Ever found yourself in a heated argument, unable to see a way out? It's a common scenario, isn't it? A simple disagreement can quickly escalate into a full-blown conflict, and before we know it, we're locked in a battle of words, emotions running high. Conflicts, disagreements, or arguments, call them what you will. They are inevitable facets of our lives. Be it at home with family, at work with colleagues, or even with strangers on the street, we encounter situations that challenge our patience, our understanding, and our ability to stay composed. Conflict is a part of our human experience, inherent to our interactions and relationships. But why is it so important to manage these conflicts? Why not just walk away, slam the door, or let our emotions run wild? Well, unmanaged conflicts can lead to strained relationships, decreased productivity, stress, and in some cases, even legal issues. On the other hand, effective conflict resolution can strengthen relationships, build trust, and foster a culture of respect and understanding. Conflict resolution is not about winning or losing. It's about finding a solution that respects everyone's needs and perspectives. It's about turning a potentially negative situation into a positive, constructive one. It's about transforming a roadblock into a bridge. The art of conflict resolution is a skill that we can all benefit from, whether we're a CEO managing a multinational corporation, a teacher dealing with unruly students, a parent trying to mediate between siblings, or just someone trying to live a more peaceful, harmonious life. It's a tool that can help us navigate the choppy waters of human interaction with grace and dignity. The interesting thing is, conflict resolution is not rocket science. It's not some esoteric knowledge reserved for diplomats or negotiators. It's a set of simple, practical steps that we can all learn and apply in our daily lives. Mastering the art of conflict resolution can be a game changer. So how can we navigate through conflicts effectively? Stay tuned as we delve into the key steps of effective conflict resolution in the following scenes. Remember, the goal is not to avoid conflict, but to manage it in a way that respects everyone's needs and fosters a positive, constructive outcome. The first step towards effective conflict resolution is keeping your cool. Imagine being in a heated argument where tempers flare and voices rise. It's easy to let your emotions take the driver's seat, but when we allow our emotions to control us, we often say and do things we later regret. That's why maintaining composure is crucial in conflict resolution. Composure doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It's about managing them effectively in a way that keeps the situation from escalating. It's about being the calm in the storm, the voice of reason amidst the chaos. So how does one maintain composure during conflicts? It starts with self-awareness. Recognize when your emotions are starting to spike. Are your palms sweating? Is your heart racing? Are your words becoming sharp and pointed? These are signs that you're losing your cool. And it's at this point that you need to take a step back. Breathing exercises can be incredibly helpful here. When we're agitated, our breathing becomes shallow, which can make us feel more anxious. By taking slow, deep breaths, we can lower our heart rate and reduce our stress levels. Try inhaling for a count of 4, holding your breath for a count of 4, exhaling for a count of 4, and then waiting another count of 4 before inhaling again. Repeat this cycle a few times, and you'll start to feel calmer. Another tactic is to count to 10 before responding. This brief pause gives you a chance to gather your thoughts and choose your words carefully, rather than reacting impulsively. Visualization can also be a powerful tool. Picture yourself in a serene place, a quiet beach, a tranquil forest, or even just a cozy room. Transporting yourself mentally to a calming environment can help you regain your composure. Finally, remind yourself of what's at stake. Remember that the goal is not to win the argument, but to find a solution that works for everyone involved. Keeping this in mind can help you stay focused and composed. Remember, losing your cool only escalates the conflict. Staying calm opens the door to resolution. Next, we have to lend an ear, and not just any ear, an active one. Active listening is more than just hearing what the other person is saying. It's about fully engaging, showing empathy, and demonstrating that you value their perspective. When you're in a conflict, it's easy to get caught up in your own thoughts and feelings. But if you're not truly listening to the other party, you're missing out on an opportunity to understand their viewpoint and find a resolution. Imagine you're a detective trying to solve a mystery. Each word, each pause, each tone of voice can be a clue to what the other person is really feeling. You're not just listening for the facts, but for the emotions and motivations underlying those facts. And how do you show that you're actively listening? You can use verbal cues like, I see, I understand, or can you tell me more about that? You can also use nonverbal cues like nodding, maintaining eye contact, and leaning forward. These signals show the other person that you're invested in the conversation and that you respect their viewpoint. Remember, active listening doesn't mean you have to agree with everything the other person says. It's about understanding their perspective, not adopting it. Sometimes, merely acknowledging someone's feelings can diffuse a tense situation. And here's a little secret. People are more likely to listen to you after they feel heard. By demonstrating that you're willing to listen and understand, you're creating a space where the other person can do the same. Active listening is not just a skill, but an attitude. It takes practice, patience, and a genuine interest in others. You might not get it right every time, but that's okay. The important thing is to keep trying, to keep learning, and to keep improving. Active listening is a powerful tool in conflict resolution. It shows respect and paves the way for mutual understanding. So next time you find yourself in a conflict, remember to lend an active ear. It could be the key to finding a resolution. Now that we're all ears, it's time to articulate our thoughts and feelings. Clear, respectful communication is the cornerstone of effective conflict resolution. It's not enough to merely listen. We must also express our own perspectives in a way that promotes understanding and fosters a sense of mutual respect. So how do we achieve this? Well, it all boils down to the art of expressing ourselves in a manner that is respectful and considerate. This is where the use of I statements comes into play. Instead of saying, "You always ignore my suggestions," try rephrasing it as, "I feel that my suggestions are often overlooked." By doing this, we shift the focus from blaming the other person to expressing our own feelings and experiences. This creates a more open and less defensive atmosphere, paving the way for a constructive dialogue. However, clear communication isn't just about the words we choose, but also about the tone we use. A calm, steady tone can convey respect and openness, while an aggressive or dismissive tone can escalate the conflict. So remember to keep your tone neutral and respectful, even when the conversation gets tough. Furthermore, it's crucial to ask for clarification if something isn't clear. Misunderstandings can easily fuel conflicts, so don't hesitate to ask questions. This shows that you're genuinely trying to understand the other person's perspective, and it gives them the opportunity to explain their point of view more clearly. Also, be aware of non-verbal cues. Body language and facial expressions can often communicate more than words. A relaxed posture and an open facial expression can signal that you're open to dialogue and willing to find a resolution. Lastly, don't forget to validate the other person's feelings. Even if you don't agree with their perspective, acknowledging their emotions can help them feel heard and understood, which is crucial for resolving conflicts. Clear and respectful communication is key to resolving conflicts. It fosters understanding and helps avoid misunderstandings. So, let's keep the channels of communication open and respectful, and watch how it transforms our approach to conflict resolution. Dwelling on past issues, not on our watch. Welcome to Step 4, Staying on Topic. This step is all about the art of keeping discussions focused on the present issue at hand. It's very easy, especially during heated exchanges, to let the conversation veer off into the realm of past grievances. However, it's crucial to resist this urge. Why? Because bringing up past issues often acts as a fuel to the fire of conflict. It can quickly escalate the situation, making it more about personal attacks and less about resolving the current disagreement. This only serves to dig up old wounds, intensifying emotions and making the conflict even harder to manage. Focusing on the current issue at hand allows us to deal with one problem at a time. By doing so, we can concentrate our energy and thoughts on finding a solution for the present disagreement, rather than getting tangled up in a web of past disputes. Remember, the goal here is conflict resolution, not a history lesson. Staying on topic also encourages a more respectful and productive conversation. It shows that we value the other person's feelings and that we're committed to resolving the conflict in a constructive manner. It's a way of saying, I see your perspective and I'm here to address this specific issue, not to rehash old arguments. Moreover, it's important to realize that past issues, once resolved, should stay in the past. By constantly bringing them up, we risk creating a cycle of resentment and hostility that can be hard to break. So let's keep our discussions current, relevant, and focused. Also, staying on topic doesn't mean you can't mention past experiences if they're directly related to the current issue. However, it's important to do so in a way that doesn't blame or attack the other person. Use these experiences to provide context or to express how you feel, not as ammunition. In conclusion, staying focused on the present issue is a powerful tool in effective conflict resolution. It keeps the conversation productive, prevents the escalation of the conflict, and paves the way for a respectful and constructive resolution. Sticking to the present issue prevents the conflict from escalating and keeps the resolution process on track. Conflict doesn't mean we can't find something in common. Quite the contrary. In the midst of disagreement, discovering shared goals or areas of agreement can be the turning point towards resolution. It's like finding a bridge over turbulent waters, providing a path from discord to understanding. Now you may ask, how do we identify these commonalities amidst the heat of disagreement? Well, it starts with active listening, something we've emphasized in earlier stages of the conflict resolution process. Listening attentively to the other party's perspective not only shows respect, but it also opens the door to find points of agreement. Here's a practical tip. During the conversation, look for repeated themes or concerns. These can often indicate areas of shared interest or mutual goals. For instance, if both parties frequently express concern about the well-being of a shared project or a mutual relationship, this could be a common ground. Another approach is to directly ask for areas of agreement. This may sound simple, but it can be quite powerful. Asking something like, "What points can we both agree on?" or "What are our shared goals here?" can help bring these commonalities to light. Remember, common ground doesn't necessarily mean agreeing on everything. It's about finding a shared starting point, a platform of agreement from which you can begin to navigate through the disagreement. It could be as simple as agreeing that a problem exists, or that a solution is necessary. Once you've identified this common ground, it's important to acknowledge it openly. Recognizing shared perspectives or goals can foster a sense of unity and cooperation, shifting the dynamic from adversarial to collaborative. It shows that despite your differences, there is still something that binds you together. The journey of conflict resolution is not always a smooth one. It can be filled with sharp turns and steep climbs. But finding common ground can provide a much-needed rest stop, a place where you can catch your breath, regroup, and find renewed strength to continue the journey. Finding common ground can turn the tide in conflict resolution. It builds a foundation for effective resolution strategies. Remember, even in the midst of conflict, there's always something that unites us. Find it, acknowledge it, and use it as a stepping stone towards resolution. Two heads are better than one, especially when resolving conflicts. This timeless wisdom speaks volumes about the importance of collective problem solving. In conflict resolution, brainstorming solutions together is a crucial step. It's not just about finding a quick fix. It's about fostering cooperation and paving the way for a resolution that respects everyone's interests. Imagine a situation where two people are at odds. They've kept their cool, listened actively, communicated clearly, stayed on topic, and found some common ground. Now it's time for them to roll up their sleeves and brainstorm solutions. But how do they do that effectively? First, they need to create a safe space for open dialogue. This means setting aside judgment and being open to all ideas, even those that might seem outlandish at first. Remember, the goal is not to win an argument, but to find a resolution that works for everyone. Next, it's important to encourage creativity. This is where the magic of brainstorming really comes into play. Encourage each other to think outside the box. The more ideas on the table, the better the chances of finding a solution that satisfies everyone. Then, it's time to evaluate the options. This should be done with respect and open-mindedness. Each solution should be considered in terms of its feasibility and its potential to resolve the conflict. It's important to be realistic, but also flexible. Remember, compromise is key. It's rare that a solution will satisfy everyone completely. But if each party is willing to give a little, they're much more likely to find a solution that they can all live with. Lastly, consider alternative perspectives. What may seem like a perfect solution to one person may not to another. By considering alternative viewpoints, you're more likely to arrive at a solution that is fair and balanced. Brainstorming solutions together fosters cooperation and leads to a resolution that respects everyone's interests. By working together to solve conflicts, we not only find solutions, but also build stronger relationships, foster mutual respect, and create a more harmonious environment. So remember, next time you find yourself in a conflict, don't just look for a solution. Brainstorm it together. Sometimes, a neutral third party can be a lifesaver. When we're embroiled in a conflict, it can be challenging to see beyond our own perspectives and biases. That's where mediation comes in. Mediation is a dynamic, structured process where a neutral third party assists disputing parties in resolving conflict through the use of specialized communication and negotiation techniques. And when should we seek mediation? Well, it's most effective when conflicts are at a standstill, when both parties are unable to find common ground or a mutually agreeable solution. It's also particularly useful when the relationship between the parties is important and needs to be preserved. So how does one go about seeking mediation? It begins with recognizing the need for an external facilitator. Both parties should agree on seeking mediation, as it's a cooperative process. Once agreed, the next step is finding the right mediator. This could be a professional mediator, a trusted mutual acquaintance, or even a co-worker. The key here is that the mediator must be unbiased and impartial, someone who can guide the process without taking sides. The role of a mediator in conflict resolution is pivotal. They create a safe and respectful environment for open discussion. They help both parties express their feelings, needs, and concerns, and importantly, they ensure that everyone is heard. They don't impose solutions, but rather help the parties discover their own. They encourage dialogue, promote understanding, and guide the parties towards a resolution that both can agree upon. One thing to remember is that mediation is not about winning or losing. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's about finding a solution that respects the interests of all parties involved. It's about rebuilding bridges, restoring relationships, and fostering a culture of respect and understanding. In some cases, mediation can be the bridge to resolution. Don't hesitate to use it when necessary. Because at the end of the day, the goal of conflict resolution is not to defeat the other party, but to find a way to coexist and collaborate effectively. And sometimes that requires a little help from a neutral third party. We've brainstormed and negotiated. Now it's time to agree. Agreeing on a solution is not just about nodding your heads in unison. It's about mutual understanding and commitment. It's about both parties acknowledging the issue and actively deciding on a course of action that resolves the conflict. It's about saying, yes, we found a way forward. Now, this isn't always a walk in the park. There may be compromises involved or alternative perspectives to consider. But remember, the goal isn't to win an argument. It's to resolve the conflict. The solution doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be workable for everyone involved. What's crucial in this stage is to ensure that everyone understands what the solution entails. Misunderstandings can lead to further conflicts down the line, and we don't want that. So clarify, ask questions, and make sure everyone is on the same page. But agreeing on a solution is only half the battle. The other half is committing to it. Commitment is about being responsible for your part in the solution, about following through on what you've agreed to do. It's about keeping your word and doing your best to ensure the conflict doesn't resurface. And let's not forget, commitment isn't just for the here and now. It's a long-term promise. It's about maintaining the peace and harmony you've worked so hard to achieve, not just today, but tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. The path to this agreement may be marked with difficult conversations, uncomfortable moments, and tough decisions, but it's a path worth taking, because at the end of it lies resolution. At the end of it, you'll find stronger relationships, better communication, and a deeper understanding of each other. Agreeing on a solution is a significant step towards resolving the conflict. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the moment where you can finally see the end of the conflict and the beginning of a more harmonious relationship. So agree, commit, and watch as the resolution unfolds. Conflict resolved? Great. But the journey doesn't end there. You see, the fascinating world of conflict resolution doesn't stop at finding a solution. It's about more than just putting a band-aid on the problem. It's about ensuring that the solution sticks, that it's effective in the long run. So it's time to talk about following up, a step that's just as vital as the rest. Imagine you've just built a bridge. You've spent time and effort, you've collaborated, compromised, and finally, you've connected two sides, but would you just walk away, leaving it unattended? Of course not. You'd want to make sure that bridge is sturdy, that it holds up under pressure. And that's exactly what following up is all about. Following up is about checking in after the conflict has been resolved. It's about ensuring the solution is working, and to address any lingering issues. It's about keeping the lines of communication open. Remember, resolving a conflict doesn't mean that every single issue has been instantly fixed. There may be residual feelings or unresolved matters that could potentially reignite the conflict. So how do we follow up effectively? First, set a time to check back in. This allows both parties to reflect on the solution and its effectiveness. This could be a week, a month, or any time frame that feels appropriate. During this catch-up, be open and honest. Ask questions like, how has the solution been working for you? Or, are there still any issues that we need to address? This is also the perfect time to reiterate your commitment to the resolution. Remind each other that you're both dedicated to maintaining this peace, and that you're willing to adjust or revisit the solution if necessary. Lastly, remember to approach this with patience and empathy. The goal of following up is not to point fingers or assign blame, but to ensure that the conflict stays resolved, and that both parties are satisfied with the outcome. Following up ensures the conflict stays resolved. It's a crucial step to prevent the same issues from cropping up again. So, don't forget to follow up. It's the final check that ensures your bridge, once broken, now mended, stays strong and sturdy, connecting both sides harmoniously. Conflict isn't all bad. It's a chance to grow and learn. Yes, you heard it right. While no one enjoys tension or disagreement, these uncomfortable situations can actually be catalysts for personal growth and development. Let's delve into how we can turn these prickly predicaments into positive progress. First and foremost, reflection is key. After the dust has settled from a conflict, take a step back and ponder on the situation. What triggered the disagreement? How did you react? Were your actions or words helpful, or did they fan the flames? These questions are not meant for self-reproach, but to understand the dynamics of the situation. Next, it's essential to identify any patterns. Do you find yourself in similar disputes repeatedly, perhaps with the same person or over the same issue? If so, there's a pattern that needs attention. Recognizing these patterns is the first step towards breaking them. Also, consider the other person's perspective. This isn't about blaming yourself or the other party, but about understanding. What could have led them to act or react the way they did? Understanding their viewpoint does not mean you condone it, but it can provide valuable insights into managing future conflicts. It's equally important to acknowledge your feelings. It's okay to feel upset or angry. What's crucial is how you handle these emotions. Remember, every emotion is valid, and it's healthier to acknowledge them than to suppress them. Moreover, think about what you've learned from the experience. Did it reveal something about your communication style, your triggers, or your conflict management skills? Use this knowledge to improve your approach in future situations. Finally, apply what you've learned. It's one thing to gain insight, but another to put it into action. The next time you find yourself in a conflict, remember these reflections and use them to navigate the situation more effectively. Every conflict is a learning opportunity. Use it to build stronger relationships and prevent similar conflicts in the future. Remember, it's not about winning or losing. It's about growing and learning. So the next time you find yourself in a conflict, see it as a chance to evolve and improve. So there we have it, 10 steps to effective conflict resolution. We've journeyed through the art of conflict resolution, exploring the importance of maintaining composure. Remember, a calm and composed demeanor can prevent escalation and promote a more conducive environment for resolution. Next, we touched on active listening, an essential skill in understanding the other person's perspective. By showing empathy and avoiding interruptions, we can truly comprehend their point of view and address their concerns effectively. Clear communication, our third step, involves expressing your thoughts and feelings with clarity and respect. Using I statements can help avoid blame and foster a more open dialogue. Then we focused on the issue at hand. By staying on topic and avoiding past grievances, we ensure that the conversation remains productive and solution-oriented. Discovering common ground was our fifth step, a crucial part of building a foundation for resolution. When we find areas of agreement, we pave the way for a more harmonious resolution. We then explored the idea of brainstorming solutions. Remember, working together to generate possible solutions, being open to compromise and considering alternative perspectives can lead to a mutually beneficial outcome. At times, seeking mediation may be necessary, especially if the conflict seems unresolvable. A neutral third party can facilitate communication and guide both parties toward a resolution. Agreeing on a solution, our 8th step, involves mutual consent and commitment to follow through. This ensures that the resolution is accepted and implemented by both parties. Following up is equally important to ensure the solution is working and to address any lingering issues. This step helps maintain the peace and prevent the resurgence of the conflict. Lastly, we discussed learning from the conflict, using it as an opportunity for growth and learning. Reflecting on what can be done differently in the future can help prevent similar conflicts from arising. Remember, effective conflict resolution requires patience, empathy, and a willingness to compromise. It's not easy, but it's certainly worthwhile. So, next time you find yourself in a conflict, give these steps a try. You might be surprised by the results.